We've launched our EC2 instance, so now let's take a closer look at security groups. From the EC2 dashboard, we can get a quick overview by clicking the Security Groups tab. This shows which security groups are attached to the instance, along with their inbound and outbound rules. For a more detailed view, click Security Groups from the left-hand menu. Here in our console, we currently have two security groups. The default security group created automatically by AWS, Launch Wizard 1, which was created when we launched our EC2 instance. Each security group has an ID and a set of inbound and outbound rules. Let's check the inbound rules for Launch Wizard 1. Currently, it allows HTTP, port 80, from anywhere, SSH, port 22, from anywhere. If I edit these inbound rules and remove the HTTP rule, the only allowed connection will be on port 22, and all other ports will be blocked. Let's test this. I'll copy the public IP address of the instance and open it in a browser. Since HTTPS isn't configured, I'll use HTTP. The page starts spinning and eventually shows, "This site can't be reached." This is expected because port 80 is no longer open in the security group. Now, let's add the HTTP rule back. I'll edit the inbound rules, add HTTP, port 80, with source set to anywhere, and save the changes. When I refresh the browser, the Hello World page appears immediately. This confirms that the web server is accessible again. So the key takeaway: if your EC2 hosted website keeps spinning or timing out, the issue is often related to security group settings, specifically the necessary ports not being open. This is both a practical troubleshooting tip and a potential exam question. Another point I'd like to highlight is about security groups. As you can see in our console, there are currently two security groups, but only one is attached to this EC2 instance. More than one security group can be attached to a single EC2 instance. Similarly, a single security group can be associated with multiple EC2 instances. This is an important point to remember, not just for the exam, but also in practical scenarios when setting up EC2 instances in your lab or organization. So, keep these three key points in mind. One EC2 instance can have multiple security groups attached. One security group can be associated with multiple EC2 instances. Security group configuration directly impacts connectivity and access. The first point is that when you launch your web server on an EC2 instance and visit any web page, particularly the home page, during initial testing, if you see a constant spinning wheel, it usually indicates a connectivity issue. This is often related to the security group configuration. Check whether the correct ports are open, for example, port 80 for HTTP and port 443 for HTTPS. If these ports are blocked, the connection will fail. The second point is that you can attach more than one security group to a single EC2 instance. The third point is that a single security group can be associated with multiple EC2 instances.